Howdy. Welcome to Practical Principles. This is Practical Prince. We're doing Talking Tarot. So go ahead and drop your questions in, free readings, and otherwise you can hang out and chat with me, or we can listen to me monologue. We have options. So many options. So yeah, just a heads up, in 2 weeks I'll be taking a trip. So the 18th and the 20th, we won't be streaming like usual. Um, yeah, but otherwise, business as usual. I'm doing well. To attract the best partner for you. What can you do? Okay. Let me go ahead and highlight that. Okay. Oh, that should pretty much flush things out if it's. Yeah, you were already on the way, but that should do it. Just trying to figure out which deck. I mean, there's a relationship aspect, but I think I'm leaning towards Prisma for the insight, which I happen to have right here. So I think we'll go with that. Attract the best partner for you. Yeah, so I'm not getting cards, but the impression I'm getting is be you. Yeah. I mean, I could go into why that's appropriate. But yeah, be you is essentially the answer to that. Let me know if you want me to dig into that. Okay. So as far as why that's good, when you're being yourself, and part of that includes, I mean, it takes some courage. You might be quiet at times when you have something to say, for example. So, I mean, it's sort of that gut reaction, owning up to that, sometimes understanding it. But I don't think people are confused about that for the most part. But so there's that forthrightness that comes with being who you are. What happens is that essentially signals to other people, well, who you are. And then people will self-select based off of whether they like that or not. Um, blah blah blah. Um, and I mean, you'll refine that over time. Like you've encountered people and you've learned things. So I mean, yeah, you'll refine that and send out a better signal. Um, but yeah, that's what attracts people who are not always a good match, but the ones who are actually attracted. Because when you're honest about who you are and people like who you are, then they really like you. So that's a solid foundation there. You do need to weed out the ones that aren't good for you, um, and filter them out in some way. But I mean, that's a better problem than attracting the wrong people in the first place, which I mean, people will have to some extent regardless. So that's the gist of why being you is really important. Um, Now it's not restricted to who you are. It's not necessarily static. Because I mean, like people can change and transform basically. Like there was one guy who like lost a whole bunch of weight, and like obviously there's a physical transformation there. At a certain point, before he had made it all the way there, he realized he wasn't even in the mindset of being a fat person anymore. Like that just didn't register as a part of him. He wasn't done, but um, he evolved as part of who he wanted to be. So there's that aspect. If there's the better version of yourself that you're trying to be, strive for that full heartedly. Um, Eventually, you basically embrace that persona, become that person spiritually, perhaps before physically or mentally. I mean, if there's a student studying aspect, like becoming a doctor, um, you could do that for other dimensions as well. Um, but yeah, basically you embrace that, and that's what you're signaling. So then again, you're having an honest signal that people are then attracted to, and you can sift through them. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have more questions on that. I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle some of the other decks. Okay. So yeah, I realized there was a lot there. Feel free to go back. Yeah, by all means, go ahead, ask your other question. What do you mean pick up? Oh, yeah, you're fine. Yeah. Yeah, we can answer another question. Okay. think I finally get to use the Lost Forest. It's been a little while, but yeah, this is definitely an introspective one. Yeah, this is fun. What would happen if I I think I'll keep my full name to myself, but my first name is Matthew. Um, and I'm operating out of Utah in America, or well, I guess United States of America, USA. Um, yeah, just want to maintain some privacy, although you could probably dig through videos and find some of it. But yeah, you can call me Matthew. Prince is a little awkward, so. Understandable if you don't want to use it. So we got 5 cards. Let me make that big. I got the sense that this was the primary fear, and that these were secondary, um, kind of weak secondaries. Um, like they're concerns, um, fears, but this one has the bigger portion by a lot. So we'll go ahead and flip 2 of Earth. And then over here we've got the Empress, 5 of Skies, Page of Oceans, and then, oh, I'm getting in the way. And then 10 of Fire. So, yeah, interesting. I mean, 5 of Skies, there's potentially disagreements. 10 of Fire, that would normally be 10 of Swords. So, um, basically, an end of life as you know it sort of feel. Empress and Page of Oceans, I'm not quite sure. Let me see. What would be the fear there? Oh, that you're not quite. Yeah, the Empress is probably a fear that you're not quite up to the role of being, well, either wife or mother. Um, Page of Oceans. Um, what's that one? Let me double check on the Page of Oceans. If I'm remembering right, this one has to do with inspiration and some creativity. So, how that would be a fear, I'm not quite sure. 2 of Earth, I'm definitely going to have to check on. I mean, you've got the 2 companion foxes there. Um, but then, as far as how that's interpreted, that's not coming to mind. That'd be 2 of Pentacles and a normal thing. Um, but yeah, I know 2 of Cups pretty well, and Swords, even Wands. But let's do the 2 of Earth. Adaptability, prioritization, being on the go. So those are the keywords there, the notes. The description: young foxes are drawn to the most brave and foolish of wandering travelers. So, I mean, I almost get the sense that it is a lot of change. Um, Not quite in the sense that it's like tower bad or death, stuff like that. It's just um, that's not the best way to describe it. Yeah, I don't know how to put that better, except a lot of changes. There's going to be the moving in together, having new family, doing events together or separately, figuring out those boundaries. So, I mean, sleeping with someone finally. Well, again, yeah, yeah. I just get the sense that it's a lot of changes, and part of it is you adapting to those changes. Like I said, adaptability. So, not that any of these things are bad. It's just a lot. It sounds like. So the sum of all the little things, and some big things too. Let me read the Page of Oceans so we can get that one. Ever curious and playful, there's always something new to explore for an adventurous seal. Yeah, creative opportunities, curiosity, possibility. And this was a lesser fear. So, give me one sec. I mean, it's not quite the reverse, but I guess as a fear, not getting those possibilities. So I guess sort of similar to the Empress, and that's a high thing to achieve. Um, but for the Page of Oceans, the closing of doors, in a sense, um, possibilities become limited. So, yeah. Um, any questions on that? Sure. So, oops, sorry about that. This is the big one. Lots of changes and having to adapt. It's not one word, but I guess, yeah. I mean, this would be two at least. Changes, adaptability. Adapting probably would be the better version of that. And then on to the lesser fears. Um, high expectations, high standard. Um, that's the thing there. Um, limited options. I know I'm using two words, but I don't know that I can go much shorter than that. Here, conflict. Um, end of life as we know it. I don't know that I can put that in a shorter phrase. Was that helpful? Do we get it all at this point? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off so I can set this down. Um, let me know if there's, yeah, yeah. By and far, that was the biggest one. I know visually it doesn't seem that way because all cards are the same size, but yeah. Okay. But yeah, that is definitely the biggest one. Excellent. I mean, seems to be a slow day today, so you have me all to yourself for now. And yeah, go ahead and drop in your follow-up question. And hello to the new people in the room. How do I overcome these and conquer to reach married life finally? Right. And I want to say that you've still got some time from our previous reading to go. Um, I overcome these. Um, I don't know that the number of fears really has anything to do with it. And by and far, that, like, if I were to do a pie graph, that big one would be like 80% of it, which means the others are like, what, 5% each? So, I mean, that is the big one. Kind of want to do spread machine. Right. Yeah, let me pull out the spread machine. This isn't a standalone deck. It's used for designing a spread. Formalizing a spread would be another aspect. Because I could just pull cards, but as far as focusing and putting a place and a purpose to it, these help with that. I'm just looking because I've got the main deck and an expansion that are both kind of appropriate. So let me see. That seems relevant, even though I'm not sure why. And I'm doing a similar thing where I'm going through to see what cards are relevant. And I've already passed on a number of them that I would have expected to be in there. Although I know the ones we definitely need are later in the deck. Seems somewhat relevant. Okay. Let me set this part aside. Sorry, it's just going to take a bit. Interesting. Well, to some sense, he might be right. I don't know you as personally as I would like to be able to make something as assertive as that. Um, but yeah, sometimes people have their patterns that basically set them up for failure. Um, so I don't know if that person had that sort of insight into you, but it's sort of like self-defeating behaviors. Um, um, you'll have this in like girls who don't know how to pick them. Not saying that you're one, but where they seem to attract and choose the wrong type of guy consistently. That's not an issue with the guys. There's plenty of fish in the sea. It's an issue with them and how they're choosing and or possibly presenting. I mean, we talked earlier about signaling. They could have been sending a bad signal consistently and then choosing poorly on top of it. So yeah, unless they were to change something in that pattern is just going to repeat. I don't necessarily know if the astrologer is right. But like that's where the truth of it would come from if they are. Now, that's a pretty pessimistic view. I mean, in my beliefs, we're going through life because we need this experience. So it's very rare that somebody reaches a state that doesn't need some sort of changing and tweaking. So I find it doubtful that you wouldn't change at some point. But I mean, the gist of what the astrologer is saying is that you might need to be active in making that happen, assuming that you want that to happen sooner. Yeah. Yeah. And especially as it relates to you and who you are. It's totally true. So, um, let me keep going through the cards. I've got some out here that I'll need to make sure I've got right. But, um, not quite. Let's see, I would think that's a good one, but no. Yeah, that one makes sense. Uh, no, not quite. No, it wasn't. Okay. I'm done with the main deck. But let me just put these back for now. I'm just going to pick this up. See that there. Do we also need some of this? Yeah, probably. Okay. The expansion isn't as big, but I mean, it's still a bunch of cards. So, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Do I even need anything else in here? Nope, that was the only one. Okay. Now let me organize this, because then we'll want to go over what the spread is, and then we'll stick the cards out. I'm going to go ahead and show you what we've got so far. I think I'll need another moment before I can speak to it, though. So, and that is small, and there's a lot of them. So, not that this is where we start, but there's the bottom part. Working our way up. Yeah, so interesting how this came together. I'm not sure we'll get a card for relationship. I sort of get the feeling that that's on hold, which, based off of what we've got before, makes sense. Not that it's something that you wouldn't want to engage in. It's just not the time or place. So I sort of get the sense that self-love and manifest are two different focuses, so to speak. Um, so this is one thing we'll be working on. This is another. Um, on the self-love, we've got express and confront, which are very similar in just being able to, well, confront isn't necessarily expressing. I do tend to, I think of it more as assert. I mean, confront is to be able to face up to it, own it in a sense. Um, express, I mean, that's being able to put words to it. Um, and there's an interesting part here. So I'll read the whole thing. To communicate, to make your thoughts and feelings known, to allow truth to flow through. The bottom part seemed to stick out, allowing truth to flow through. Sometimes people are open to accepting the truth, um, but they're not partaking of it. In this case, it might be more of an unstopping and letting that go, letting that free. The prayer is interesting, and I think affirmations is going to be somewhat similar to this, or at least I'm getting that idea associated with it, even though I'm pretty sure there's an affirmation card. Um, but yeah, makes some sense. Um, and then we've got this other focus of manifest, where a lot of the negativity seems to have happened. So we've got this oppression shadow work card. That was the only one from the expansion that we got. But then also associated with it was excuse and victimhood. So, I mean, just given how this ended up being laid out, it seems like, I mean, you're manifesting your limitations, the things that are holding you back. So, I'm sure oppression has some roots, um, but yeah, it's kind of moot to the discussion of now, is where we're at there. And so, yeah, there's the negativity around what's being manifested. And then there's the self love, which seems to get the better half of it. But then it's navigating, because there's two different things. There's the self love, which is almost about accepting yourself. Um, but then manifesting is who you want to be. And yeah, I mean, you have to balance between who you are now and who you are becoming or want to become. So, makes sense. Um, so that's the gist of the spread that we've got going. So this formalizes what the card in each particular space would mean. Hey, Terry. So now I'm going to set this down. And I'm going to find the cards. We're going to be using the Lost Forest again. And like I said, I'm not expecting relationship to get a card. But I think we will for the others. At least most of them. Do I need to? No, not yet. Go ahead and drop in your question. I've got a pretty complicated question from Lovina right now. If you want to leave and come back to the video later, I mean, at some point, we'll answer it, speaking to Terry. But it may be a bit. But right now it's Lavina, and then it would be you, if you're interested. Let's see. Right. Um, um, oh, so, um, let me show things again. Um, so these cards are good for assigning the meaning to a spread. Sort of like previously we had the 1 and then the 4. I told you this is the one that has the most weight, and these have a lot less weight. Instead of me defining that for you, these cards define what that space means. So this would be relationship. A card placed there is representative of, well, the relationship. Not that that's relevant here since we didn't get a card for that. But so like under here, we've got navigate. This is the card that corresponds to how you're going to navigate or how to move about that. We got a card for oppression that would speak to either where the oppression is coming from or how that's being manifest. As far as navigating stuff, well, not speaking to that. But yeah, so these cards don't necessarily answer. I mean, in the strict sense, they don't answer. In how it was laid out, we sort of got an answer to some of it, but you're still going to want the details. So, yeah, yeah, it helps explain how things are connected, um, and yeah, what to focus on. Because like there were a lot of cards in there that I would have thought were good, um, that just weren't relevant to the reading for you. So these are the ones that are most relevant and most important. So, okay. I'm going to start flipping the cards, and we'll just go sort of how they went. Ace of Oceans. That makes sense. I'll get to that later. Queen of Fire. King of Earth. The Empress. Interesting. So real quick, while we've got this area, Ace of Oceans is, I don't know if you can really see it. It's a dragon searching for a mate. Not that that last part is obvious, but a sea dragon searching. So yeah, and so I get why this is on oppression. I mean, you've been dealing with that loneliness and wanting something more for a long time. So that's the oppressive part. The Queen of Fire. So this would normally be Queen of Wands. I'll have to double check it, but I mean, she has creative power, well, and like the ability to manifest. I mean, that comes with her imperial nature. So I'll double check for the keywords, but yeah, you have the ability. But then for victimhood, we got King of Earth. I'll have to double check. How are you blaming the world for what happened to you? How have you given up your own agency? Yeah, I'll have to double check King of Earth to see how that one connects. I'll set that just a little off. The Empress excuse. I mean, at first glance, similar to the other one, you've already locked yourself into a role of femininity and what you view that as being. But really, you're holding yourself back with that. So, so that's what we got there. We'll go ahead and flip navigate, but we'll have to come back to that later. Page of Skies. So that would normally be Page of Swords. For self-love, we got Ace of Skies. Cherry tree on a mountaintop. Confront is the Hierophant. The Lovers on Express. And then on prayer, we got the mage, which would normally be the magician. So, yeah. Yeah, I think this will be good. Let me grab the guide so that I get things right. But yeah, this will be, oh, I don't know if we could see the last part. So the Hierophant, the lovers, and the mage. And then I know you saw the Page of Skies, but then there's the Ace of Skies. So let me go ahead and set this down, and let's start connecting dots. We sort of went over the first part, but let me finish with that. If you've got questions on specific ones, let me know. I'll double check Queen of Fire on the manifest, but especially the King of Earth on Victimhood. So King of Earth, the notes are wealth, abundance, security, leadership. Those lucky enough to glimpse this elusive stag are rewarded with wealth and abundance. That's the description. And this is on the victimhood card. How are you blaming the world? How have you given up your own agency and power? What painful experiences do you need to fully acknowledge in order to heal? Yeah, security is sticking out to me. Yeah. So I guess from that one, I mean, you've built up walls and processes and practices to keep you safe. It seems like you might have built them too tall or too tight. And that's locking you in. Yeah. Alternative. Yeah. How have you given up your own agency and power? Yeah, that's the one standing out. Yeah, you've locked down. And it's a form of security, but it's gone a bit overboard. So you'll need to call that back down. And then paired sort of with that was excuse, and that was the Empress. And that was based on your feminine nature. Yeah, we already talked on that. Let me get the Queen of Fire. Confidence, independence, determination, which makes total sense. I mean, you've already gotten the inspiration that you can manifest. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know that there's really a question there. So we've got a lot of cards real quick. For these four, do you have any questions? Because these were oppression, manifest, excuse with the Empress, and then victimhood and King of Earth. I mean, I got a slight aspect of that. I mean, it was mostly security. It's not, if you're referring to someone else as far as my leadership, no, that would be wrong. But if you're talking about your own leadership, yeah, no, really the focus from that one was security. I know leadership was on there. But yeah, the problem is the focus on security. Yeah. I don't see leadership being the issue. I mean, I know that was a keyword here, and like I can see how, like I could understand how an independent streak leans you too much towards independence and makes you unavailable for interdependence. Like I can personally see that sort of explanation. But what I'm getting from this, the impression I'm getting, is the focus is security. So does that make sense? As far as how to overcome, I think the Page of Skies is going to give us a lot of stuff. And really, it's the second half, I think, with the self-love that's going to help you fix what is and move towards what you want to be. Um, but yeah, this seems more of the problem portion. So solving the problem, I think, is more here. And then the Page of Skies is really the mediator to bringing that forward. So are we good on this part, I guess, those four? Okay. So I'll leave the Page of Skies for after we figured out this half, because that really does mediate between them and facilitate that. So we'll be going into Ace of Skies, the Hierophant, the Lovers, and the Mage. Lots of major arcana, so that's good. I'm going to set this down. So on self-love, and that's accepting yourself, is the gist of that card. Ace of Skies, breakthroughs, mental clarity, new ideas. So embracing that spark really within you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I would say spontaneity is the focus there. Just, yeah, those ideas, those, I mean, you might even have eureka moments, although I don't think it's necessarily as strong as how that connotates. Um, but yeah, your brilliance, in a sense, and that's part of how you'll love you and accept yourself. Moving on, we might need to dig back into that just to clear that up. Going on Confront, we got the Hierophant, and that one's all about order and tradition. Yeah. There's also conformity, religion, and spirituality. But yeah, traditions would probably be the focus there. Or, well, basically anything that will provide governing principles. So whether that's spiritual practice, religion, maybe it's family traditions, I don't know. But yeah, that's on your Confront card. Yeah, no, I get the sense that this is a weapon in your arsenal that you're going to be developing, which makes sense. You're working on your spirituality, so you're already on the route there. But yeah, that's going to give you the foundation where you can fight other stuff from, the other negativity, or at least stand against it. Let's go on to the Express and the allow truth to flow through. was the one that stood out. We got the Lovers on that one. Love, relationships, choices. I'm sort of getting two things there. I mean, there's the obvious expressing love, and that's what you'll be, well, expressing to who I wouldn't know. Um, well, given that this is associated with self-love, probably to yourself, so maybe being more explicit about that. But I'm also getting the decisions. That was the word, right? Choices. And that is connecting more with the to allow truth to flow through. So being real honest about the choices, whether that's past, present, there's that aspect to that. So yeah, that one had two parts to it. And then associated to express is prayer. What do you need to communicate to the universe? Reading off of the prayer card. What are you inspired to put into words and expression right now? What are your hopes, dreams, and wishes? And on that, we got the Mage. Manifestation, power, resourcefulness. So, yeah. I mean, you already know you have that, given the Queen of Fire from the Manifest card. So, as far as what you need to, yeah, I don't know what prayer you would do in your practice, whether that's affirmations, actual prayer, maybe even some meditation. Depends on the meditation, I guess. But yeah, it would be affirming that powerful manifesting, that ability to manifest. So don't overdo it per se. Okay. And so let me, gosh, I'm trying to remember it all. Ace of Skies, breakthroughs, stuff. Okay. So yeah, to recap, can't see the Mage as well. Oh, that is a lot of prayer. But if that's what you need, then that's what you need. So yeah, self-love, Ace of Skies. There's the breakthroughs, the brilliance, being able to, well, realize that. Okay. And loving yourself. Acknowledging that you are brilliant, essentially. For confront, you had the Hierophant, and I mean, you've got your spiritual practices. These are what's letting you stand firm against what's, well, negativity over there. Oh, I guess we can see that. We had the Lovers. There was two parts to that, and that was, well, expressing love, and in a sense being honest about your love, but then also being honest about the choices you have made and will make or are making. So there's kind of an ownership that's going to go on with that. Connected to that, I'm probably touching more off of the love aspect, just affirming and in whatever way you want your ability to manifest and be powerful. Any questions on those four before we get to the Page of Skies? So Page of Skies was on the Navigate card, and that's how to plan, figure this out. And basically, how you're going to, the how of how you're going to proceed. So, in Page of Skies, let me go ahead and set this down. New ideas, desire for knowledge, curiosity, a flash of insight, a flurry of feathers, a flood of ideas. That's the description there. So I think this is already in force, basically, based on what we know. But yeah, there's going to be those new sparks, which you're already going to get with the brilliance and that part that you love about yourself. In a sense, it's going to be chasing those, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Slowly but surely, that's going to purge away some of this. As far as how that cleans that up, I don't know. Yeah, we don't necessarily get that. But yeah. Any questions on that? I mean, I think this is almost naturally what you're doing. So I'm not too worried about it working out at this point. And we still can't even see it all. But yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, you're trying different things. You're hungry for new solutions and whatnot. So this plan is already happening naturally. You're already embracing and loving those different things that you're trying. They're building up a solid foundation for you. There's some ownership that maybe could happen, but I mean, you're already affirming your ability to manifest, which you do in fact have from the Queen. And spiritual journey. Yeah. I guess there's just in the middle of that. I mean, you're with your power of manifestation and you're on your spiritual journey. You're going to go through a number of experiences from the brilliance of the Ace of Skies that you're going to chase with the Page of Skies. And those things are going to transform you in such a way that you'll be able to tackle those problems and that'll no longer be an issue. So yeah. Yeah, we don't necessarily get the milestones, but I mean, they'll come and they're just going to ratchet up your ability to be able to handle everything. So yeah. Yep. That's a pretty good summary. I mean, you already have the confidence, I think. But yeah, that's going to carry you through to that end. Yeah. I guess there's nuance to the how that I don't know how certain things will play out. Um, but yeah, that's the important part. Yeah, I mean that is the how. I I was thinking more of um, the concrete things that would help you. But yeah, yeah, yeah. No, your understanding was good there, as it should. Not that you're lacking it. You've got plenty, from what I can tell. Or maybe that's mostly the Queen of Fire, but yeah, yeah. You're already on the right track, so that helps a lot. Let me go ahead and clean this up a bit. Well, that's what I was commenting on. I don't think we had anything more concrete. Um, which I mean, those are details that I would be interested in, um, but we don't necessarily need. Um, I mean, you could. Yeah, I mean, you could go back. There was the excuse and victimhood. I think oppression was pretty self-explanatory, but you could reflect on those, um, as far as like specifically targeting those. But as far as the reading and what things mean, I think you were solid on that. So I think almost regardless of whether you did that, like you'll be able to navigate and get through just fine. So, um, well, so the cards, these ones, oh, there's too much glare. Let me. Um, no problem. Sorry, accidentally took myself off. So as far as like these ones, with the pretty pictures, those would be this deck, the Lost Forest, and that's what we've used in the reading, both this one and the previous one. As far as these cards, um, this isn't a tarot deck, um, but oh, and that's kind of hard to read. But that's called Spread Machine. And in fact, the author of this, because this isn't tarot, it just helps with the spreads. I think the author of this is changing the name to Spread Weaver or something like that. Um, so if you wanted to look it up, it might be under a new name at this point. And we've also got the author's name there, so that's probably more reliable. Kimberly M. San. So that's probably going to be the more reliable way of finding that. But yeah, as far as tarot decks, this was the only one we used for those reads. And this is possibly my favorite one just because the art is so beautiful. So, Okay. And of course, that's on the video. What do you mean by need spread machine? I would say no, but as far as for doing tarot, oh, no, you don't need spread machine. You don't need anything like that. Um, One of the main functions of that deck was to help with shadow work, so self-development sort of stuff, which, given your question, made a lot of sense in this case. Sometimes, I mean, a good chunk of the time, I will just use the deck. If you see me use the Lost Forest, that's almost always going to be some sort of introspective sort of question, but not necessarily. I won't necessarily use the spread machine. So I don't think you necessarily need them. I do like the spread machine sort of for the shadow work. I mean, like I showed that to you before I even laid cards on it. And it's because like the things that stand out, the important ones, can be a point of reflection. You don't necessarily need to pull the tarot cards on top of that. Like I was already commenting on how the manifest seemed to be cluttered with some of the negative stuff, and that self-love was the main route that we were focusing on, and that was without even having the tarot cards there. So do you need it? No. But I mean, I like it, and I think it does that function pretty well. So yeah, it has its place. Let me go ahead and clean these up a bit. That had moon on them? Was that the Lost Forest? Oh, so the Destiny deck. Oh, you're right. That's at the top and the bottom? Probably just the top. Yeah, we're probably going to have better luck finding Lisa Santine. Yeah. So I don't know. Right. Let me go ahead and yeah, I guess we'll just hope for the best in that regard. So I did a Google search for Lisa Santine. Obviously, when you're in a different area of the world, Google will prioritize things differently. But yeah, so she's got a website, lisasantine.com. And in fact, that was the particular deck right there, the Destiny deck. Okay, so yeah, that's sold out. And then there's her new Lucine Tarot. I guess we can go ahead and, oh, if that, Oh, gosh. I'm not sharing stuff. Let me go back. Um, yeah, so Lisa Santine was her name. Let me go ahead and make that big so that it's more obvious. That's still pretty small, I think. Can I zoom some more? Doop-a-doom. I mean, the internet should be available regardless. It would just be the shipping, I think, would be, yeah, whatever they have in regards to shipping. So, yeah, just searching for Lisa Santine. This is her website. There's the Destiny deck, but if we go here and with it zoomed, this will be a bit awkward, or maybe not. But we can see that it's sold out, sadly. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that was that one. And then, yeah, because I got all of these online, so I don't know what the international barriers might be as far as shipping or availability. You get the credits on the Lost Forest, so we can look that up. Chelsea Santa Maria created the Lost Forest, so that was the deck we used today. So she's got a website as well. And if we look at this one, this limited run is now in its second edition. Oh, but that's sold out too. So yeah, I guess neither of these specific decks are available right now. Yeah, it's in dollars. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Chelsea, I want to say, is in California. Lisa, she's coastal of some sort. I want to say West Coast, but I could be mistaken. But yeah, they are based in the United States. So sadly, yeah, not available. There was the Lucine. That's probably available given that that's still being created. You could probably get an order in there if you want it. Don't force yourself by any means. Yeah. I guess, did that answer your original question? I can't even remember at this point. But oh, should I look up Spread Machine as well? Oh, that's right. And then thanks. Since I went ahead and looked it up, as far as like the Spread Machine, so that creator is Kimberly M. Son. And she uses Fables Den. That's her organization or company. And if we follow up on that, oh, so she swifted to Spread Crafters Oracle. So yeah, probably wouldn't go for that right now, but in the future, that's one way to find it. That one seems to be available, not that you want it right now. So yeah. Okay. Go ahead and close that. So yeah. I mean, as far as basic decks, right. And that makes sense. Um, I mean, there's going to be any number of people making the Rider Waite, which really is what tarot is based on. Those meanings, those cards. Um, uh, of course, I don't have a Rider Waite deck myself, so teach their own, I guess. I mean, I do have another deck I just don't use, but um, you could say that spread machine is certainly not future. You could definitely get some past, but really, as it relates to the present, I wouldn't know where to send it. That's the only issue. And I'm not sure I would want to give a deck I don't care for. Not that it's seeing any real use right now, so maybe that would be fine. Um, yeah. I don't know that tarot is necessarily future based. I mean, when you're using it in that context, yeah. And then it's divination. Yeah, it is more focused on the present. Um, but I mean, you could use tarot to do past. I mean, like even just the basic 3-card spread, like one of the common ones is past, present, future. So, I mean, most people are more interested in the future, but it can touch on um, past and present as well. Yeah, the oracle isn't future based. Yeah, so that part is accurate. Let me go ahead and switch that over while I put this back. Yeah, I can see that. We did have people stop in, but yeah, nobody wanted to stick around. Yeah, which is fine. It is a first come, first serve basis, so that aside. But yeah, it was. Let's see if I can even find them. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have Luis or Rada. Terry was the guy who stopped by, or woman. I just associate Terry with men, but yeah. And some days are slow, and that's fine. Nah, don't worry about that now. I'll probably just call it good because it has been a couple hours, and if it's a slow day, it's meant to be. So yeah, I think we'll wrap up. Um, I guess in case anybody does watch this later, um, in 2 weeks I'll be taking a trip. So the 18th and the 20th, we won't be having the regular stream. We'll still be doing the 16th. That Monday I'll still be around. But that Wednesday and Friday I won't be. But otherwise, next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Well, if they hop in real fast, maybe we'll see. But yeah, so regular times. I am job hunting. Got to keep reminding people. So times may change. Thank you. But yeah, job hunting. So times may change. If and when we do, we'll see. I mean, we are an hour 40. I would be willing to throw in another 20 to get us to around 2 hours. So thanks. Yeah. I'm sure the good things you did were not limited to just that. So don't downplay it too much. We'll get our camera online just in case, but we'll let it be. And let me go. Oh, I forgot to put that guide back with its deck. Yeah, I'll go ahead and shuffle this since we've got some time to kill. Yeah, guess I'm done with my monologue. Yep. Yeah. I don't know that I believe I'm doing nothing, but yes, I definitely do downplay my part. So, yeah, I probably could work on that in some way, but yeah, that's not the focus right now. So, yeah. I'd normally fill time just doing reads for myself, but I still need to go over my previous one. So, don't know that I want to do that right now. It does. But I mean, a good part of what I'm doing is trying to, well, a lot of what tarot helps people do is to empower themselves. So I don't want them to be dependent on me. So there is some value in it and a point to it. Um, yeah, because a person who's dependent on a tarot reader, yeah, yeah, that's probably not too desirable. That's probably enough shuffling. It'll be fun. Looking forward to it. It's kind of interesting having a regular, so we could. Yeah, I don't know how you would do a tandem reading. That would be interesting. Um, but yeah, I don't know that I would want to, at least not for the first few. Because I mean, it's going to be a learning experience to start with. So, no need to have the added pressure to perform or anything like that. You don't need that. Um, yeah. Now I'm just thinking of how, like, there's tarot associations of some sort, and that you have to do so many reads or something like that. And then based on the quality, you can get in or not. Well, I mean, one of the most important things for tarot reading is being earnest, being honest and forthright, but also having good intentions. So, and like, you totally have that. I don't need to read in order to get that feel from you. There's plenty of people who don't have the best of intentions, but and some people just do it for fun. And so, low stakes, low risk, low reward for them at least. Um, I don't know that that's good for the people who necessarily go to them. Because I think some people go with higher stakes for a low quality answer. But yeah, that works itself out the hard way, probably, but it works out. But yeah, I mean, for the first while when you're doing it, I mean, part of it will be getting familiar with cards. I imagine part of it is figuring out spreads. Not that there's really a systemic thing, but like, I mean, you've seen me do tempered pairs, and I've even had an example of a skew card. I mean, those were things new to me. That, as far as I know, I developed, but I wouldn't be surprised if like that's in a book somewhere. So, or if somebody does that. But yeah. So you might learn those things. You might learn your own things. Um, yeah. And so, yeah, part of that is just time and practice and getting in tune and making yourself available in a sense. Because when you don't have as much familiarity and skill, at least in my case, the higher power can only do so much. So, I mean, like today, I mean, your very first one, we didn't even pull cards. that was just inspiration speaking, really. So, yeah. Old me probably would have been like, how do I put this in a 3-card spread? Da 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 da. And like, yeah. I used to be pretty. Cards came from the top, so they needed to be lined up for me, which was convenient. Your last spread today, all of those cards came up from the top, and that actually had me nerved a bit, just because it's been so long since I had cards straight in a row, all from the top. So many of them, too. I feel like a number of cards end up getting pulled from the bottom. Some will get pulled from the middle, some from the top. But to get them all straight like that, it's been a long time since they've been lined up so nicely. Yeah. Oh, you're fine. I don't know what you're apologizing for, but you have done me no injury or anything like that, so you have no need to apologize. It's me as the streamer who should really figure out how to keep something going to be entertaining, even if I've only got one viewer. My little view count says there's 2, but well, I mean, there's the video. If you want to go back, I'm just monologuing, so yeah. And I basically puttered out at that point, so that's all good. But yeah, I guess the camera disconnected. I think, I don't know if my platform is introducing some background music. But that might be too soft. I could scale that up. Here, let me listen to my own stream so that I can gauge the music. Yeah, you can't really even hear anything. Yep. That is definitely my personality. Oh yeah, that's real soft, isn't it? Yeah, and that was what I was trying for. Gosh, this seemed so much louder before when I set it up. Yeah. That's still pretty soft. I mean, the meter I'm looking at has 60 out of like 100 maybe. So I've been notching it all the way down to Sorry, hearing myself talk is throwing me off just with the delay. But yeah, I notched it all the way down to 5, but maybe that's just because of how it came out of the laptop. Yeah, that's the impression I'm getting when I listen. Because I can hear myself. That's coming through clear. Even if I'm looking away. That's soft like it probably should be. And now I'm struggling with the delayed audio. So yeah, maybe I'll just keep that at 60 for now. I didn't realize that was so soft. I mean, when I set this up beforehand. Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, Jewy. Yeah, just when I set this up, that music seems so loud, but some of them are, yeah. Some of them are rather brief. It really just depends on the answer. Yeah. I guess we'll leave that music going. Yeah. Jewy, if you've got a question, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're just chatting, so. So yeah, that's good to know. You're good. I mean, it's only if Jewy actually wants one. So, if there's no questions, there's no questions, and that's fine. We can just chat. Set these decks aside. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure we did a reading for Jewy before, so Jewy Patel at least seems a familiar name. So I don't know if you've got questions or not. I'm a little too one. I still need to catch up on social media. So. Hello. You don't have to like and share, but it's appreciated. Yeah. I mean, you don't need a cloth. I like it. And I got them with their decks. I mean, the Lost Forest doesn't have a cloth that goes with it. My Prisma and Cosmotex, they actually came with travel pouches things. So you wouldn't necessarily have the cloth. But the pouch has enough fabric that you could do a 3-card spread on just that if you needed it. But of course, you can use any surface. It's not required. I do this because I like it. This seems like a Destiny Tech question. No problem. Yeah. Look tends to be difficult with tarot. I mean, if I get a strong inspiration, I'll let you know. Behavior, finance, we can probably get. Yeah, the other details we can probably get. And sorry, I'll be quiet for a bit, but that's just me trying to get in touch with which cards are in this reading. So don't fret too much. Okay, see you, Lavina. Sleep well. I've been thinking about it. I was gonna wait till I got a job to reschedule, but I might just do that sooner rather than later. I'll have to check on that one. See ya. I'm sure it's just how Facebook is formatting the comments. It's still funny to see Lavina reply to herself. Okay, looks like we've got 4 cards. Let me figure out what they correspond to, if I can. Okay. You did. Thanks. Good night. Let me get this on. Oh, but we don't want my fingers. No, we still don't want my fingers. How is that surprising to anybody? No, calm down. Calm down. That's still not the right one. Even though it says back camera. Give me one more sec. We can probably fix it. If it'll be smart. Oh, there we go. Sort of. It decided to reload. Probably because it couldn't handle it. I mean, I could flip the cards and then show you, but I feel like it has a different feel when you can see me actually flipping them. So, let me give this a sec. You can have access to my camera. Oh, finally. I think we got it. Yep, okay. Alright, and let me highlight that. Let's see. I'll see if I can get... There we go. So the 4 cards, I get these, the sense that these are different aspects of that husband, and this is the outcome. So, yeah, we'll just go that order. So 8 of Swords, this person is in their head. It's not a great thing. It's usually dealing with mental entrapment, anxiety, depression perhaps. It's not necessarily that severe. It could just be, yeah, anxious nerves. So I don't necessarily know the severity of that one, but they're definitely in their head a bit. We've got Ace of Wands, so soul purpose and life change. I'll read up on that just to make sure I get that right. And then 10 of Cups, prosperity and celebration are the notes there. Cups will usually deal with emotions, so it's interesting to get this along with the 8 of Swords. But it could just mean that they're emotionally mature. I mean, there's whatever this is, but like if that's a medical issue, then it makes sense that this is simply referring to their limitation, but emotionally they're a mature person. I'll read up just in case there's more on that, but that's not necessarily 10 of Pentacles, which would be really solid financial position. And then for outcome, we got the Magician. So pretty positive card. It's almost you get what you put into it sort of thing. I mean, the Magician deals with being able to manifest, to make things materialize, that you have the resources you need and can get to where you want to be. So there's not necessarily an abundance of wealth here, but you have sufficient for your needs and probably then some, in order to accomplish some of the creative stuff. And that's, I mean, you don't need to be artistic per se. That can just be, they can speak to other things. So yeah, I've got a digital guide for this one. I'll go ahead and set this down and pull that up. And if you've got specific questions, let me know. I'm going to skip the 8 of Swords just because I'm real confident in that one. The Ace of Wands. Nope, that's not what we want. Here, let me find the 2 of Wands. And then scroll up. Ace of Wands. And we're showing... I'll scroll that up a bit just so it's a bit more, oh, there we go, readable. Although it might still be small, I don't know. An auspicious card for every aspect of your life. The Ace predicts new beginnings and inspires creativity, inventions, and spirituality. A right hand, the hand of receiving, appears from a cloud, offering a single wand. 18 light bursts emanate from this wand, signifying hope, based on the Tree of Life pathway that this card represents. The bursts represent an awakening of spirit and revived spirituality that brightens your life. There may be a heightened sexual desire in you that may be going through, which yeah. Skip over to bring excitement or birth new ideas. I mean, obviously that could actually lead to, well, romantic relationship and progressing that. This is a fertile time in every part of your life, from conceiving new ideas and creative projects, to beginning a new relationship, to birthing a child. So, yeah. As far as how you're going to see this in that person, yeah, I mean, we read all of that, but the strong impression I'm getting is that they have hope, like an overabundance of hope, I would say. That's going to be their defining thing. And I almost want to go back to read the Eight of Swords now, because how those things will work together in that person, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, they've got a lot of hope. They're very optimistic. Kind of a go-getter with all that energy. So we've got that aspect. We'll go ahead and do 10 of Cups, and then we'll wrap back for the 8 of Swords. And there it is. One of the most positive and joyful cards of the Minor Arcana. It reveals the benefits of love and the security of family. The card predicts great happiness for relationships or close friends. It is also a positive message for children, forecasting their success in their studies and with their friends. The card is a reminder that what you have worked hard for, is coming together. This card is a great indicator of success in family matters, contentment, prosperity, celebrations, and joy. Yeah, the strong thing there is family. So, yeah, I don't know if tight-knit is the right word, but like, they have fantastic familial relationships. So, strong family, very optimistic, good energy there. Yeah, I do want to read the Eight of Swords, just in case I can see how that pieces together. Symbolizes a self-imposed entrapment. This may be due to a circumstance that may be holding you back, or you may be a victim of your own limiting fears. Due to these factors, you may feel isolated or vulnerable. You must release yourself from these bonds. You may have to ask others for support, and with strong determination you can free yourself from your restricted thoughts, mental barriers, and illusionary obstacles. Open your mind to a new perspective so that you no longer stay stuck where you are. Liberation is yours if you go within. Yeah, the thing standing out to me here is this may be due to a circumstance that may be holding you back. Yeah, it's not internal like I would normally get at first blush. How that's holding them back, that's interesting. They wanted to go down a route or pursue something, but they were blocked. So, whether that's because their understanding of what they wanted was too narrow, could be. Yeah. So basically, they're redirecting their life. That's probably too strong of a word. Because it could just be understanding. Well, I mean, you get it with the Ace of Wands. They're chasing something. So it's probably they hit one dead end with the Eight of Swords. And then they need to figure out how to deal with that first and move on. But that's not going to be hard for them. Ace of Swords. And then strong family with 10 of Cups. With Magician, we already talked on that and how that comes out. I'll go ahead and read that since we've read all the others at this point. Hey Irene, hope you're doing well. Just finishing up Julie's. Go ahead and drop your question if you have one. The Magician reminds you that you have many gifts that others may not hold. This is a card of action. It is revealed that you must broaden your horizons. Plans must move forward, and creative aspirations must be manifested. It is not a time to procrastinate. The Magician is very positive, and with a magic wand, has the ability to transform, create, and manifest every desire. In a love reading, the magician tells you that love is coming or that your current relationship is getting stronger. This was speaking to the outcome as far as its place in your actual reading. So, um, gosh, in your work, there's news. No, once you align your spirit with the material world, alchemy occurs. This is when you are able to turn your dreams into reality. Yeah. I don't know if there might be hesitancy when actually having a family. Um, but yeah, if anything, it's suggesting you should throw that away. You have the ability to make it happen. So yeah, that speaks pretty positively to being able to make the family that you want. So yeah, good outcome. So as far as those things you could look for, lots of positive energy, um, very strong familial relationships, support there, and then they hit some sort of roadblock, and they've either are or recently were figuring out um, what to do about that, how to go about that differently, which they're able to do with the Ace of Wands. So. Was that good, Dewey? Did that make sense? I guess. Any questions on that? Just want to make sure we're good. I'm going to start shuffling the cards in case we need this deck again. And of course, Irene, if you've got a question, go ahead and drop it in. And anybody else who has one. Things are good there. If you got disconnected or something, well, you wouldn't be hearing this, but it'll be on the video. So whether you're watching Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to go back and catch those details. So go ahead and set that aside. And do we have any other questions? I'm just going to set up the camera since it's reloading again. There we go. I'm worried that there might be a slow connection, which would be unfortunate. Not something we can do much about. So I'll go ahead and pull this one. So, Irene, Dewey, or anybody else watching, if you've got questions, let me know. Otherwise, we might just wrap this up. I'm a little worried that stuff is on hold for some reason. I know the software I'm using can only handle so many people chatting, but I don't think we're hitting those numbers yet where it's an issue. So, okay. I think we'll call that good for now. I feel like people have questions, so we do this stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Might be mixing up the time soon to make it more accessible. If you've got thoughts on that, let me know. But yeah, that is Mountain Standard Time. In a couple weeks, I'm on vacation, so the 18th and 20th, we won't have streams then. We'll still have the 16th, and then resume again on the 23rd. And I am looking for a job, so if and when that gets locked down, that'll shift the schedule as well. So, unless we do it proactively. So, but yeah, if you've got questions, those are also free readings. Feel free to drop by those sessions. I can understand if that's inconvenient, so if you want to comment and let me know ahead of time, I can just do it at the start of a stream and you can watch the video later at your convenience. So we've got options. And until next time, hope you're doing well and